One of the weirdest conspiracy theories I've seen on the internet about hip-hop is that Drake killed XXX. And today, we're going to go through the timeline as well as all of the evidence for this theory. Now with that little prelude out of the way, let's start. January 23rd, 1998, Plantation, Florida. Jahseh Onfray was born to Cleopatra Bernard and Dwayne Onfray. Jahseh's mom and dad were not very present in his early life, with his mom drifting in and out through the years and his dad locked up for multiple small crimes, the main one I could find being weed related. He would grow up under his grandma. His relationship with his mom would eventually stabilize later in his life, and he even got her name tattooed as his first tattoo on his chest. His early life was tough. He'd start really making bad decisions in high school, doing things like carrying a firearm, robbing people, and other stuff. His sophomore year, he'd be arrested and sent to juvie, where he'd meet Stokely Goulbourne, aka Ski Mask the Slump God. They then form a collective trying their hand at rapping, calling themselves Members Only. This group isn't important for the story we are looking at today, but it did have a positive impact on X's life because this was the first time he had a group he felt he belonged with. If you look at X's work throughout the years, he was kind of alone. Out of his collective, none of the people really blew up like he did. Ski Mask was the only one who really came close. In his XXL cypher, he's alone in the room with the spotlight on him. He's hunched down, pretty much just speaking. Even his most popular songs on Spotify don't have a feature. It's kind of crazy how isolated he seemed as an artist. Going forward, X would drop Look At Me on New Year's Eve of 2015. This track would do nothing for his career yet, until January of 2017, when Look At Me would pop off and get 34th on the Billboard. While his song was blowing up, he was actually in jail, and he would make the cover art for Look At Me just his mugshot. Now this is where it all really starts. On the song KMT, Drake would do what he does best and steal from another rapper. This one obviously being X, he just took X's whole flow from Look At Me.
Keep my dick in my pants. My bitch don't love me no more. Demon just got out of can. I gave my bro in advance. Love is just not in my plans.
Then in March, X would do his first interview out of jail, where he'd go after Drake, calling him a bitch, a culture vulture.
So now where do you guys stand? Like, what's good now?
I still think Drake a fuck nigga. I'm keeping a blood raw. I still think Drake a fuck nigga. Like, I think he's not a man. I think he's a bitch. That's a bitch move. Especially when I was in jail facing life, bro. You get what I'm saying? If Drake would have came to my barn hearing, you know what I'm saying, that would have made my fucking day. If he would have showed that he's a hospitable person and that he's really in this shit for the culture, rather than being a fuck nigga taking my shit, running off with it, and then putting it on his album, then he would have got my kudos, he would have got my respect. I would have let him hop on the remix, take 100% royalty rate.
Then the next day, Ja would make a tweet saying Sandra Graham is hot. And Drake would do nothing about this, not even make a comment on it. Then by the end of the year, Look At Me would go platinum. Then, beginning 2018, in February, X would make an IG post saying, if anyone kills me, it was at Champagne Poppy. I'm snitching right now. Then, in June of the same year, X was looking to buy a bike and went out and got $50K in cash to buy it with. Then, as he was pulling back into the car dealership in his BMW, a truck blocked his way, where 3 armed men got out with guns pointed at X, stole the $50K in a Louis bag, and then fatally shot him. Jahseh Onfray would die at the age of 20. After this, there was an event that you don't really see in hip-hop much, and it's always sad when it comes around though, when it seems like it just took a breath to process this loss. You had seemingly every notable figure in hip-hop at the time talking about this. Not just his crew like Ski Mask and Wi-Fi, but you had the big names as well. J. Cole, Jay-Z, Kanye, Pusha T, Future, Lupe Fiasco, Diddy, The Game, T.I., Rick Ross. And some people went even above and beyond with support. Denzel Curry attended his public wake. Lil Wayne even paid tribute to him at Art Basel that year. Then 2 days later, Dedrick Williams was arrested for the murder. The story is basically Dedrick had seen X at a parole office months prior, and that's how he knew that it was his BMW that day that they decided to rob him, and then someone just shot. Now, the 3 other men were arrested in connection with the murder. None of these men are worth talking about very much. The only other name I'll bring up is the person who actually shot him, which was Michael Boatwright. During the court proceedings, Dedrick Williams' attorney would argue that the police didn't even question Drake about the killing and that they weren't doing their due diligence. The lawyer would basically blast the ass of the detectives about just not even questioning him. And Drake's lawyer went as far to get a court order for Drake to testify. Drake's lawyer would get him off of it, citing that there's really no evidence to point towards that conclusion, so he would never be made to testify. But interesting enough, when trying to serve Drake with the bodyguards, stopped the lawyer and threatened him, proving that the boy really didn't want to be involved. Although his music during this time would say the opposite. Drake would go on to pretty much claim the body in his album Scorpion on multiple songs. On I'm Upset, he talks about a $50,000 body.
I'm upset. 50,000 on my head is disrespect.
Remember, what got stolen from X was $50K and a Louis bag. Speaking of which, on Mob Ties, a song that, as the name implies, Boy Wonder tries to vet himself as a mobster, claiming that he has mob ties. They'll send shooters after these people talking bad about him.
Hey, sick of these niggas. Sick of these niggas. Hire some help. Get rid of these niggas. Sick of this shit. Move to the rich.
Something I'm sure you know, the mob was famous for having shooters they'd use. He goes on to say Louis bag in exchange for a body bag. And there's really no doubt in my mind that this is talking about X, right? Like, there's no way you're citing 50K and Louis bag, same album. It's like, he's all but claiming the body here, right? Then on Her Loss, specifically the song On BS, Drake does the classic number rhyme.
Maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10. Maybe I should break that 10, do a 5. Then if it gets live, do a 5 again. If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again.
Except for those who didn't catch it, Drake talks about dividing numbers, and then if you add all the numbers up at the end, you get 30, which in Roman numerals is, of course, XXX. He'd also say the IG Live bar, which is in reference to X often going on IG Live to shred this guy. He'd talk the most shit.
Pussy, bitch ass, too good for anybody bullshit.
Before we move on, I would just like to say number bars and rap are really cool. Even though Drake did a really poor job here, they're normally used to show the lyrical skills of the rapper. Drake didn't really do a good job here, but I'll leave a video link in the description to a video by Dissect where they show you some of the coolest number bars and why they're important. All right, back to the video. Moving on, Drake's next album, For All the Dogs, he seemingly backsteps the claim on the body, even though throughout the song he does repeat the phrase, shot him in daylight. But he also has this line, TPS think that I bought the body. Internet swear that I bought the body. Take more than that to go pop somebody.
I wasn't there when they caught the body. TPS think that I bought the body. Internet swear that I bought the body. Take more than that to go pop somebody.
Here, it seems like he's retracting his claim on X. It still feels a little bit odd though that he's even addressing it at all. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, what is there to say? You've claimed it before. Now you're going back on claiming it. It doesn't add up. You know what I mean? After this, there wasn't much that happened until 2024, and we're not talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef, although that did happen. We are talking about Dedrick again, whose lawyer would try to make a appeal to make Drake testify, but it was to similar results again. Now, as far as evidence goes, that's it. Drake hasn't mentioned X since, and I haven't seen anyone make any other connection. So, at this time, I will go over the timeline once again in kind of like a theory believe way, right? We're gonna indulge here, suspend our disbelief, and this is the version of events that the theory believes is true, okay? then I'll discuss my thoughts on it after. In early 2017, Drake hears a new song on the radio from a young rapper in Florida. He likes the flows and decides to steal it for himself on his song KMT. X finds out about this and goes on a Drake hate campaign, dedicating his first ever interview to talking about the boy and his disdain for the Canadian. He then goes on live streams many times and saying, "Fuck Drake." Drake catches wind of this, knowing he can put hits out on people now because of how rich and famous he is. He has plenty of money as well. He probably thinks that he's on top of the world so he can get away with it. He decides to send Ja a message somehow and threaten him to keep his name out of his mouth or die, basically. Something that Ja would post about on his IG, and that was enough for Drake. Drake then puts a hit out on him, which Derek Williams and company end up following through, shooting X at the dealership and taking the money and the Louis bag as payment. Drake then tells his security not to let him be served, that way, he can't get sued. That's why they're so aggressive to the lawyer. After a while, Drake thinks that he's in the clear, so he starts bragging about the body on songs in order to show that he's really with this gang lifestyle. Then in 2023, Drake has a change of heart, or something scares him into distancing himself from the body. That's it. Drake killed him, got away with it. Now, what are my thoughts on this? Well, it's simple. He didn't do it. I don't believe that Drake killed him. I don't believe Drake's capable of that. I don't think he actually has shooters out there, I'm sure that if you have enough money, you can do anything, but I don't think it mattered enough to Drake to kill him. Because, you look at, Drake has way bigger ops now than somebody saying fuck Drake on IG Live, you know what I mean? He has Kendrick Lamar, who's called him a pedophile 18 times now. Secondly, Dedrick's crew has no connection to organized crime. And third, there's no connection to Dedrick and Drake. There's no connection to Drake and organized crime either, you know what I mean? So, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. But it is a fun thing to theorize about, especially when you add the Kendrick stuff that comes on later, but I really don't think it's real. If I'm wrong, we'll probably never know. So that leaves one question remaining. Why would Drake claim the body? And I think that's kind of simple. You see, if you look at Drake's life, his biggest fear has always been not fitting in. He's the epitome of a pick-me. He would claim his grandmother's body if it gave him street credit and a heartbeat. So when X called him out, then X died, Drake thought, I can claim this and people will see me as an actual gangster. So he did it. But he failed to realize that it isn't the same as when you see a rapper with bodies that aren't other rappers. It almost never actually happens. So it's not the same. See, when artists murder somebody in their past, hip-hop fans sometimes will overlook it because it's not an artist. It's somebody they have no connection to. But Ja had a big fan base, and Drake didn't realize that was different. Same thing he's always been doing. He's been mimicking. He doesn't actually know the culture. He pretends to. And ultimately, it's betraying the culture, because what you're doing is you're killing your fellow brother. This is a student of hip-hop in order just for some street credit that Drake has not earned at all. This theory is good because it just shows you that Drake is a mimic. He's not an actual student of hip-hop. This is just one of countless examples. All right, that's gonna wrap it up. That is all of my theories. That's everything. Pretty short one. That was kind of my goal. I was hoping to get under 10 minutes. 13 minutes isn't so bad, right? Came in close. The last 3 other videos were supposed to be 15 minutes and they ended up being almost 40. So I'm doing better, right? Just a little fun thing I wanted to do, see how long it would take me to make. It's not taking me too long. I spent a lot of time kind of spinning my wheels on this video, especially in the beginning, because originally it was going to be how this video ended up, pretty much, right? But then I found out about the Kendrick Lamar stuff I already knew it, but I was okay, I remembered it. And I was I'm just going to add this for fun at the end, look, see if people are actually onto something. And they kind of are. It's I don't know. It's hard to say because I spent 10 hours looking into it easily, right? I spent more time looking into that than I did the fucking Drake, because the Drake one's way more well documented, right? But like, there's just so much stuff with the Kendrick Lamar stuff. You have like United in Grief quotes that seem point to Drake. Some people think Squabble Up seemingly points to Drake and X. It's like they're like the entire football halftime show. You could like see stuff like he's doing what's the one that's like it's not Squabble Up, what is it? Peekaboo. He's doing peekaboo at the 30-yard line in an X, right? Like it seems like it's probably about XXX, but like there's not much proof, and like some theories are pretty solid, like the being in the X button on the 30-yard line performing peekaboo, which has a bunch of like stuff you could like point towards and be like, this is kind of talking about X, it seems like. But like there's also a lot of reaches in that theory. I went through this dude posted a Reddit thread of like the timeline, and there was stuff like it was just way too much stuff. This would have been an hour and a half long video if I added that stuff, and I was not trying to make that. I was trying to make a 10-minute video, so I cut that out. I didn't even get it made. I got like halfway through scripting that part and like laying it all out in front of myself before I was like, this is too much. If you want me to go over the Kendrick stuff, I also have the idea of just going over the XXX stuff in a separate video, also just his life story, not really talking about the Drake thing, probably just talking about the flow steal on KMT. That's it, because Ja has a life story that I really connected with a lot more than I was, because I was going to go through it here, right, but I was like, gotta cut it down, just want to cut it down. It doesn't really add anything to the theory, you know what I mean? Like, I was just gonna like go over his like early life, talking about like his parents being out, like what that would have done to him from my point of view as someone who's went through a very similar thing. Cut it all out though, couldn't justify it. It was adding nothing, it was all filler. So this one's very bare bones. It feels weird that like I'm not even at the 20-minute mark, you know, even yet. I mean, I was at the 13 when I started the ranting, so like it feels weird how short this video is compared to the other ones. But hopefully that means it's kind of like, you know, it's easier to digest watch, you know what I mean? How many subliminals I had to cut them out, because it was too much. It was too much, basically. Like, it was like kind of discrediting the actual theory. So I didn't throw really any subliminals. The on BS or rhyme scheme, I was gonna do like a 5-minute tangent about how it's so stupid. Like whenever you're doing number rhymes, it's pretty much like the all-encompassing like lyrical test for a rapper, right? It's supposed to be you showing how good you are. There's countless examples of like really good ones, like Lupe Fiasco on Touch the Sky. He does a 3-to-1 countdown. It's really good. Kendrick Lamar, I forget what song it's on. He counts down from, it's Freedom with Beyonce. He counts down from 10 to 0, but he doesn't say a single number after the number 4. He does it with syllables. So he does 3-syllable phrases, and then 2-syllable phrases, and then 1, and then 0. I don't even like it's crazy what you can do, but he just did nothing with his number rhyme scheme. You know what I mean? I'm just like talking. This should be the last one though. And I'm excited that this is the last one. As soon as I get this one up, going, and published, bro, like, I'm publishing all of them at the same time. I'm excited to see what anyone has to say. I'm excited to, like, just put them out there, you know? I have all of the other videos unlisted right now with thumbnails, descriptions, everything. I need to make one for this one. I need to remember to put that video in the description if I forget. Molest or harass me. I don't know why I said molest. That was an accident, my fault. Harass me about it. I don't really have anything else to say. Iceman was 0 out of 10. I can say that. All 3 of them were. Shit was ass. Hate Drake. I should put my fucking... I should have a badge for how much I hate that motherfucker. Shitty project. Don't let that guy, like, con you into thinking they were good, right? I heard a really good quote. It was from like FD Signifier, and I'm paraphrasing here. The only reason why people like Drake is because the illusion that he's the best because he's the most popular. they don't like him for his actual music. And I think that's so true from every Drake fan I've seen. I've never had a single one tell me where Drake was actually being lyrically genius that actually had some substance to it. You know, I'm not gonna go there. Like I've heard people like bring up bars, but it's always the most mid bars ever. Like that's not even my like bias against him. It's always stuff that don't hit. Like the mimicry of a culture is all he is. I'm sorry I've been hating on Drake the past couple minutes. I just had to get it out. You know, if I couldn't put it in the actual video, I have to put it in the fucking post video. Oh my god, there's no reason you guys should be watching anymore. I'm providing nothing to you but my thoughts and opinions, but fuck it. We ball. Alright. See ya.